So number 31 says, for the triangle shown below, which of the following is an expression of y in terms of x? Well, if you'll notice, all those answers are in terms of x, and terms of x means, okay, x needs to be in the answer. So we want it to say y equals. So look where y is. Y is that hypotenuse. So, of course, this is a 90-degree triangle. You're going to do Pythagorean theorem. So 4 squared plus x squared equals y squared. And when you take the square root of both sides, you have the square root of 16 plus x squared. So E. So 32 is a probability problem. A bag contains 12 red marbles. I always write down as I read 12 red marbles, 5 yellow marbles, and 15 green marbles. It says how many additional red marbles must be added to the 32 that are already there. So the total is 32. So how many additional red marbles must be added to the 32 so that the probability of randomly drawing a red is 3/5. So you can either start with the answer choices and add 13 to both 12 and 32, because if you add 12 to the red, it's going to add, if you add 13 to the red, it's going to add 13 to the total, and reduce that fraction until you get to 3/5, plugging in, until you get to that fraction. Or you can set up that equation where you say, all right, I know I want red over the total, so 12 plus some additional red marbles over 32 plus that additional red marbles needs to have a probability of 3/5. Now you have a proportion set up, so cross multiply. 5 times 12 is 60 plus 5x equals 3 times 32 is 96 plus 3x, and now you have an equation and you can solve for x. Subtract 3x from 5x and you get 2x equals 36 divided by 2, and you get 18. 32 says, what are the quadrants of the standard xy coordinate plane below that contain points on the graph of the equation 4x minus 2y equals 8? My brain automatically takes that equation and wants to go to slope-intercept form. So I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to add 2y to make it positive. So 2y equals 4x. Since I added 2y to the right-hand side, I'm going to subtract 8. So now I'm going to get y by itself. So I'm going to divide through by 2. I have 2x minus 4 equals y. I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is 2 over 1, so I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, or down -2 over -1. So can you tell which quadrants you're going through? You're going through 1, 3, and 4. So D. This problem may scare you, but really and truly all in the world it is you plugging in, working out. It says the graph of y equals -5x squared plus 9 passes through the point 1, 2a in the standard xy coordinate plane. What is the value of a? Well, you have an equation, y equals -5x squared plus 9, and it tells you right here that x is 1 and a and y is 2a. So I'm going to replace y with 2a equals -5 times, I'm going to replace x with a 1, and then I'm going to solve for a. So I have 2a equals -5 times 1 is -5 plus 9. So I have 2a equals 4, a equals 2, F. So Jerome, Kevin, and Seth share a submarine sandwich. Jerome eats half of the sandwich, while Kevin ate 1/3 of the sandwich, and Seth ate the rest of the sandwich. So we don't know what Seth ate, so we're going to let Seth be S. So these three added together makes one whole sandwich, and it says, what is the ratio of Jerome's share to Kevin's share to Seth's share? Well, first of all, we got to find out how much Seth has. So I can tell this is supposed to be an equal sign. It says, so I'm going to get a common denominator of 6. So 2 goes, so this is 3/6 plus 2/6. That gives me 5/6 plus S equals 6 over 6. So I know Seth ate 1/6 of the sandwich, and the ratio is Jerome's is 3 over 6 to Kevin's 2/6 of the sandwich, to Seth's 1/6 of the sandwich. So 3 to 2 to 1, D. Always try to eliminate wrong answers if you're not sure about something. Okay, a particular circle in the standard XY coordinate plane has an equation, x minus 5 squared plus y squared equals 38. What are the radius of the circle in coordinate units and the coordinates of the center? So we need the radius and we need the coordinates of the center of the circle. We've already talked about a circle this year, and if you look in your notebook, you do have the equation for a circle written down, but I'm sure most of us probably don't remember it. So let's just think about some things that we know. We have talked enough about equations and stuff inside parentheses being the opposite of what we see. Well, in the equation of a circle, the center are the numbers inside the parenthesis with the with the x and the y. So the center are those numbers, the opposite of what you see. So my center is going to be 5, comma, well, there's no parentheses with this y, so that's a 0. So I know my center is 5, 0, so I'm eliminating J and K. Now, if you don't know anything else, you have 3 to guess from instead of 5 to guess from. So always eliminate wrong answers. The equation of a circle is x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals the radius squared. Well, right now this tells me that my radius squared is 38. Well, I want to know what r is, so take the square root of 38, f. The figure below consists of a square and 2 semicircles. Remember, 2 semicircles makes a whole circle with dimensions as shown. What is the outside perimeter in centimeters of the figure? Well, perimeter is circumference of a circle, so I need to know the circumference formula. Well, the circumference formula is 2 times pi times the radius, or pi times diameter. Well, I know the diameter is 8, so circumference equals pi times 8. And so that's going to be the circumference from here to here. And remember, I'm looking for perimeter. Perimeter is the outside edges. So I have 8 pi plus this length is 8 plus this length is 8. So 16 plus 8 pi. So B. In the figure below, points E and F are midpoints of AD and BC of rectangle ABCD, and G is the intersection. So G is the intersection of AF and BE, and point H is the intersection of EC and DF. The interior of the rectangle, except for the interior of H, is shaded. What is the ratio of the area of the light color to the area of the shaded region? So let's just think about what we know. I know, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles that are the same size. Those are all shaded regions. If I cut this triangle in half, and I cut this triangle in half, and I were to flip this part here and this part here and put them end to end, that's the same size as one of these 4 that I have dotted. So I know, so right here makes a 5th triangle, and this part right here makes a 6th triangle. So I have 6 triangles in that shaded region. Well, this interior, if I cut this in half right here, here's 1 triangle, 2 triangles that are the same size as these others that are not shaded. So the ratio is 2 to 6, or 1 to 3. The coordinates of the midpoint CD in the standard XY coordinate plane are -4, -2, and 14, 2. What is the x coordinate of the midpoint of CD? Well, if you don't remember the midpoint formula, then you're just going to have to kind of think your way through this. If you have a coordinate at -4 and a coordinate at 14, that is 18 units between the two of those. And if you split that in half, that's 9. Well, 9 is not the answer. This means that you are 9 units away from 14 and 9 units away from -4, which gets you to 5, which is C. Or, you know the midpoint formula is add your x's together and divide by 2. That gets you 10 divided by 2 is 5. What is the surface area in square inches of an 8-inch cube? Well, you know a cube has 6 equal sides, and if So I have an 8 by 8, which is 64 inches squared, but that is not my answer. I have 6 sides to that cube, so 64 times 6 gets you 360, 24, 384, G.